大家好我是秦苏珊律师。那今天的话呢，我会跟 Craig 律师去聊一下卖淫的案子，或者是你在按摩店工作，你被抓了。最近不管是在加州还是在纽约的话呢，又有新的一波人在按摩店工作，有的是被抓的时候是说无证按摩，那有的被抓的话呢是被指控卖淫。所以呢，我会跟 Craig 律师具体去讲一下这是怎么一回事。如果你被抓了，你该怎么办 ？Hey Craig, so lately in California and in New York, we've been seeing people getting arrested for prostitution or massage without license at different massage parlors in different cities and different counties. Can you tell me a little bit what's going on in New York right now?
Yeah, so right in Manhattan, the Manhattan DA's office initially agreed not to prosecute a lot of these prostitution cases. But what we are seeing now, a lot in Long Island, but even more so in New York City, is people being charged with sex trafficking. So the police are doing a lot of undercover sting operations at massage parlors, and the concern is that a lot of these masseuses, they're getting paid pretty much nothing and working 6 days a week and relying on tips. And since they're relying on tips, some of them offer sexual favors in exchange for money, in which case the masseuse would be arrested, and then the owner of the massage parlor would initially get a violation for operating an illegal business or operating without a license. But the grand investigation usually focuses on the owner of the business, where they could potentially be charged with sex trafficking, and that is a very serious felony charge.
So earlier you said about sex trafficking and sting operation. That's two good points. Oftentimes when we get a consultation and client will say, oh, it's sting operation. It's undercover. They enticed me into doing this, that, but I didn't actually do it. They would just say, oh, so the undercover officer would offer, say, hey, I'll give you $60, you do this for me. And then the next thing they know, the masseuse got arrested. So they wanted to know, can they actually charge me for prostitution? Because, obviously he said that he lured me into it, but I didn't perform.
Well, that's the thing. It's the agreement. The cops are not going to put themselves in a position where the sexual act is being performed on them. They will just get the agreement, the verbal agreement. So any exchange of money for sexual favors is enough for the police officer to arrest the individual. And in New York, that's usually just is a misdemeanor charge for the masseuse. Sometimes the masseuse will be released and just given a court date to come back, and a lot of times in those cases, the police want the masseuse's cooperation because their true interest is in the owner of the massage parlor. The masseuses are the victims. They're here working under very poor conditions, and they're just trying to make money to survive. So a lot of times, they're the victims, and the true target of the investigation is usually the owner of the massage parlor.
Okay. Yeah, oftentimes, clients come to us, they say, well, yeah, I didn't perform, but I didn't agree either. So what constitutes an agreement? Let's say the officer say, hey, okay, I'll give you $60, you do this. And then the masseuse didn't take the money and she probably just nodded her head. Or if she didn't do anything. So under this kind of circumstance, does that constitute an agreement?
Well, and that's something that we would fight and definitely challenge, when we get the discovery in the case. The police may be premature in their arrest, but that's why you hire an attorney, because we would zealously advocate and pick apart their case. And a lot of times those kind of cases could result in very favorable dispositions. And the goal is to have no criminal record, because even a misdemeanor could have negative immigration consequences. Also getting the masseuse to cooperate, in exchange. We would explore the different options, but based upon the evidence and the strength of the case. But in circumstances like that, we can definitely challenge the arrest and hopefully get the case dismissed.
Right. So when clients come to us, they often wanted to know whether or not we can get the case dismissed. So they wanted to know, all right, if it's the first time offense, is the first time, or the second time, are the results going to be the same? What's going to happen? Let's say we have a case and we get the evidence. If it's the first time offender, can we get the case dismissed?
It's definitely possible. In New York, we also have what's called an ACD, adjournment in contemplation of dismissal. If you stay out of trouble for 6 months, your case gets dismissed and sealed. That is a very good option in cases like that. It really depends on the strength of the people's case. Other possible good options is a violation. A violation is not a crime. It's like the equivalent of a speeding ticket. It'd be a small, like $100 fine. In New York, we have it's called the 240-20. It's a disorderly conduct. It's a violation. It's not a crime. Those are different possible outcomes that we could look for that are favorable. Because the ultimate goal is to have a non-criminal disposition. And if it's a first-time offense, it's very, very good chances that we can avoid any criminal conviction.
What would you advise to people that are working at massage parlors? How can they protect themselves from being arrested from undercover officers?
Well, that's you can't be operating, you can't be exchanging sexual favors for money. That is illegal, even everywhere in New York City, and even though they haven't been prosecuting those cases for a long time, it's still illegal. So you just got to be mindful that any exchange of sexual favors for money, could be prosecuted, and just be mindful that police are doing undercover operations where they are intentionally offering, hey, I will give you money in exchange for sexual favors. If anyone offers you money in exchange for sexual favors, just say no. Just clearly just say no, because you cannot do that.
Great advice, thank you. 那刚才呢，我跟 Craig 律师就是聊了一下，如果说你现在在按摩店工作如果说有警察过来，比方说是钓鱼法，我给你40块钱或给你60块钱，你做什么什么，那你可能就点一下头或者怎么样，但也没有做什么东西，那接下来你就被抓了。那这种情况的话呢，它其实也是构成了违法因为你们已经达成了一个协议，虽然说你没有实质性的去做什么，但从法律角度上来讲，如果卧底说我给你多少钱，你去做什么，那你同意了，然后你并且把这个钱收下来了，或者是说警察直接就把这个钱放在旁边，那你比方说接下来你就要准备做什么，但还没有开始做，那这种情况他就把你抓起来了那这个的话呢，它虽然是钓鱼法，但是呢你也构成了违法的行为，所以你也会被抓。那当然了，刚才 Craig 也讲了，如果说你是第一次被抓或者第二次被抓的话呢其实前一段时间或者去年的话，曼哈顿都已经不再去起诉就是卖淫的案子了，但最近的话呢，慢慢又开始多起来了，特别是在法拉盛这边以及法拉盛周边的这些就是说在按摩店工作的人呢，陆陆续续又被抓了。所以我们的建议就是说你如果被抓，你一定要马上请律师，那我们很有可能会帮你的案子就是打的 dismissal， 也就是打掉，但具体的话呢，要看你的案子的情况我们一旦被雇请以后呢，我们会联系检察官的办公室以及警察局那边去看，就是警察那边有什么指控你的证据。如果你现在在按摩店工作的话呢，你要保护自己，有任何就是警察或者说卧底的话呢，如果他说给你多少钱要做什么什么，那你必须要拒绝，就是明确的拒绝，否则的话呢，你也会被抓起来。